Okay, hey, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another after work video and ride home. I think today we're going to talk about motonarcissism. And I'm going to B-roll the definition of narcissism right here. Okay, let us define narcissistic to start this thing off. A narcissistic personality is someone who has a mental health condition characterized by a long-term pattern of grandiosity, an intense need for admiration, and a lack of empathy. Now we're going to put the word moto up in front of that, and then we'll have motonarcissism. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so some of you might know the tail of the dragon, US, I believe 129, 11-mile stretch of road with 318 curves and stretches between North Carolina and Tennessee. And it's become quite the tourist destination for motorcycles and car enthusiasts and the like. And it's also a public road, taxpayer maintained, and it also has a posted, on average, 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. And on this road it has 104, I believe, pullouts where slower traffic can pull over and let faster traffic pull by. That's all the context. So now you've got that information. I was perusing through my Facebook feeds and my reels and saw a guy, doing the whole racetrack thing. He's got his, the full leather suit with the back hump on it, dragging the knee, just going bonkers on the tail of the dragon. And I got to admit, the man had skill. He wasn't drifting out of his lane. He was holding his lines. He was doing everything really, really well. But here's where the problem comes in. He comes up on a four-wheeler. Keep in mind, it's a public road. Four-wheel traffic is, part of the game. And he's upset because the four-wheeler absolutely will not pull over. Now in the video I saw, I didn't see that four-wheeler, pass by a pullout. I just didn't see a place for the four-wheeler to pull over. But this guy who's clearly going well past the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit is upset because the car driver is doing the speed limit and is being normal. And this is where the whole narcissism thing is coming from. This is what caused me to think about this. I jumped in this conversation in this guy's Reels comment section, and I said, dude, why are you upset? He doesn't have to pull over for you, not one bit, even if he does come up to a pull-off point. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's doing what's normal in that situation. You're the problem. You're the one that's trying to treat it like a racetrack. His response was, it is a racetrack. They call it Tail of the Dragon. It's like, what does that have to do with anything? That's the name of the road doesn't indicate if it's a racetrack. What indicates it's a racetrack is it's not open to public usage. But the narcissism in this entire thing is this guy thinks because he's got a bike that can go fast and he's dressed like he can go fast and he's got obviously skills that support going fast, that he has the right to go fast anywhere he wants. And in this case, the tail of the dragon, because it's got all the curves and can really put his skill set to use. Problem is, it's not normal and it's not legal, and people who are driving normal and legal are not obligated to placate those who are not normal and not legal. But the narcissism says, yes, you are obligated to placate me. You are obligated to move aside. I am the king of this road because I can, and therefore I will use it as my own personal racetrack. I really, really hate that attitude in us motorcyclers because, one, we're so much more vulnerable than any car. I mean, if car drivers really decide they want to take us out, short of being on a straightaway, they can take us out. I've seen videos of police officers pitting, you know, the pit maneuvers that they save for cars, pitting motorcyclists when they get too sideways. I mean, you know, a motorcycle can only outrun a cop for so long, you know, with their skill set. If you're not a skilled motorcyclist or you're riding a bike like what I'm riding, you're not outrunning a cop. What is wrong with you? So this guy might have been able to outrun a cop. Very few can successfully outrun cops. I can think of a couple of big time sport bike riders that do it for kicks on YouTube. But, you know, that kind of narcissistic behavior and mentality makes us all in the community of motorcyclists, you know, not look good. Part of the problem, I think, is that our laws, at least in the United States, are meant for cars and trucks. We go through our basic driving test and we're trained to deal with cars and trucks. There's a little side note, a little blip about motorcycles, but it's not. There's nothing in our laws, in our legal section, that gives any separate jurisdiction to motorcycles, except for a couple of states. California for sure, and I think one other state passed filtering laws. And I think all the states, all 50, should have filtering laws. I don't think that should even be a question. But, you know, they don't. And so this is another form of narcissism. If you're out there filtering in a state that doesn't allow filtering, then you don't get the right to be upset or mad, and definitely don't get the right to punch people's mirrors off when they don't act like you think they should act, because you're doing something that they don't expect you to do because it's not legal to do it there. Honest to gosh, I swear, even if they allowed filtering in Kansas, I wouldn't do it, at least not for a couple of years, because it takes time to get people's mentalities trained up to accept that kind of behavior. Like in California, they're trained enough, as their drivers are, to open up the lanes when motorcyclists are filtering to let people go through uninhibited. You try that right away in a state where that mentality isn't in that society, you're looking at trouble. You're looking at cars pushing in, closing off the filtering lane, doors opening, people getting upset. You know, if you're doing that in a place where filtering isn't legal, you can expect that behavior, and you should probably just back down. The smarter thing to do is if you're stuck in traffic, is to position yourself in a lane filtering position without actually lane filtering. Of course, then you run the risk of a car pulling up right beside you because he thinks there's an open lane there. Again, because they're not trained to think about motorcycles, and legally a motorcycle takes up the same space as a car. Now, reality-wise, no, the motorcycle clearly doesn't, but I'm just saying legally, we get that entire section of road that a car would get. So if I pull off to the side to not run the risk of getting sandwiched between two 4,000-pound vehicles, that doesn't mean you can pull beside me. You stay behind me. But, you know, motorcycle narcissism is just something that I see really prevalent with sport bike riders. You know, again, just because you've got a bike that can do 180 and you've got gear that is meant for the track, that doesn't mean an open public road is your private runway. You know, you're not making anything better for anyone. You're putting yourself in danger because you're relying on your skills to outrun traffic. You're assuming that people are watching out for you or you're going to stay in their lane. But if you're doing, you know, triple digits, even if people are looking out for you, you're smaller and you're faster. And while they're glancing in their mirror and they see you way behind them, you're traveling at such a rate of speed that they're going to go into the next lane, maybe one that you're traveling in, and it might be at a time when you can't swerve out of their way or you can't brake enough. Whose fault is that? That's yours. That's yours. You know, don't drive like a goon. Don't be doing stupid stuff, man. I see another form of narcissism in motorcyclists in the mob rides. And mob rides are not group rides. A group ride would be seen more as a club, motorcycle club, or a close-knit group of friends where they're riding, you know, 2 by 2 in each lane, one in each driving lane, right? Or they might be beside each other or they might be staggered. And depending on how big they are, they might have a lead man up front, a road captain, 1 or 2 guys in the middle where they can handle bikers that have maybe broke down or got sick or whatever. They can pull people over and let the whole rest of the group keep going on. And they'll have a tail gunner in the back to bring up the rear to make sure nobody gets separated or that kind of thing. Anyway, that's a very coordinated ride. They have a preset destination. They have stops preset. And if they're a big group with a special mission, like a funeral or a charity run, they will often be working in tangent with local law enforcement to block intersections and things like that to let them go through. That's a group ride, very organized, typically really well done, and try to be respectful of traffic around them. A mob ride is completely different. That's a bunch of fools out there on the freeway blocking off as many lanes as they can so that guys in front of them can sit there and pop wheelies and do various other stunts, again, on an open public road meant for cars and trucks. You know, again, the narcissism is when you expect everything else around you in a public setting to yield to your whims and desires while you're being dumb on a motorcycle. Nobody has to yield to you. Nobody has to get out of your way. And absolutely nobody has to put up with your shenanigans on the highway as you're blocking multiple lanes. That doesn't mean people should run you over, but I'm just saying you should expect adverse reactions, and you literally do not have the right to be upset about it. That's my thing. But I want to switch to another group, probably the most narcissistic, the worst group of all, the ones that cause the biggest amount of trouble and pain and headache for people. That's you adventure bike riders. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe the things that you guys do on your adventure bikes. I'm just joking, Maritime Moto, don't come down here from Canada and beat me up. No, look, adventure bike riders are literally the most sane, most normal, most chill riders out there, I think. I mean, they go to their coffee shops, they go camping, they don't break speed limit laws in reckless or dangerous ways. They're not trying to get ahead of anybody else. They're just out there living their lives and doing their thing. And they're doing it in such a way as they don't startle people on the highway because they're out there popping wheelies and doing dumb stuff that normal people don't expect. So hats off to you adventure bike riders. You actually are giving motorcycling a good name. Like literally the only time adventure bike riders are doing anything to try to be seen in an obnoxious way is when they put on all their high-vis clothing. But adventure riders are literally the normies of the group, and I'm proud of them. Now I'm going to go back and bring back to where I started this from, the Tail of the Dragon. I want to ride the Tail of the Dragon. I really do. It's a bucket list item, right? I mean, if you own a motorcycle and you're anywhere in the area, and even people from overseas fly over just so they can ride this iconic piece of road. But man, if you're going to be out there being dumb, decide that that's the place you need to test your limits and your motorcycling skills, deciding that this is your personal playground and everybody else can go kick stones, then I don't know if I want to be out there, because you're not safe for me. And clearly the speed that I would be riding it at, which I'm not saying I would stay 30 all the time, but I'm saying that I sure as hell wouldn't be pushing my limits. I've never been on that road before. This isn't a muscle bike or a speeder. So, you know, would I be doing 30? More likely than not. But 30 is pretty slow, even for this bike. I mean, I'm pretty sure it could do better. But should I? Should I be doing faster? Should I be pushing a little bit harder than 30? I shouldn't legally, no. So I would most likely try to stay within range of that 30, 35. I don't know, man. I don't know if I really want to do. I do want to do the Dragon. It's iconic. It looks like it's beautiful territory. Love to see it for myself. At the very least, get to the top of the pass and look at the overlooks and the scenic views and all that. I'd love to go see Wheels in Time Museum. Wheels Through Time? Wheels Through Time. But man, I would really have to do it in a time that it's not a holiday, it's not a weekend, and at like 10 in the morning or something. I don't know. I need to pick a time where most of these, where it's the least amount of traffic, so I have a better chance of not running across these narcissistic jerks that think, you know, this road is their playground. Maybe I need to get an adventure bike, because I'm a normie rider. I certainly don't want to cause a problem for anybody else, which only means that it's a problem for me if they get sideways. Anyway, well, that's all I've got. You guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you on the next one. See ya.
You think you're cool, but you're just a tool. You keep acting a fool, you're gonna crash and stare and drool. You think public roads are the place to get your drag on. You really wanna be cool and drag a knee on the dragon. I feel your need to want to race, but the public road is not the place. I know you like that place of danger, but all you do is make a space for anger. So you and your friends get on the freeway to ride, but the stupid stuff you do, I hope you don't crash and die. You block off all the lanes and it beat people's right away. You narcissistic fools only ruin other people's day. I feel your need to want to race, but the public road is not the place. I know make a space for anger. Danger, but all you do is make a space for